Dear friends, this is the story of a man whose first wife had passed away. He had 4 daughters, all of whom were extremely beautiful. But the youngest daughter, Zainab, was the wisest among them. Qutb deeply loved all his daughters and never let them feel the absence of their mother. He fulfilled their every wish. As his daughters grew older, they began taking care of the household, and Zainab started cooking meals for her father. Whenever Qutb went out for work, his daughters would prepare food and send it along with him. In a nearby village, there lived a widow who had a daughter. The widow had a habit of going from house to house, asking for food. Whenever Qutb's daughters prepared meals, the widow would show up at their home. Zainab's sisters would say, "She's a poor widow. What harm is there if she takes some food from our house?" Zainab would remain silent but often warn them, "Mark my words, this woman will cause trouble for us one day." The pattern continued. Every day, the widow came to their house. Taking advantage of the situation, she would secretly add extra ghee to Qutb's food, spoiling it. When he noticed the food tasting strange, he assumed his little daughters had made a mistake. He loved them dearly and couldn't understand why they'd spoil his food. One day, Qutb decided to observe his daughters. He hid and watched them prepare the meal. The eldest was washing rice, 2 were cooking vegetables, and Zainab was cleaning the utensils. The food turned out perfect and nothing was wrong. But then, something shocking happened. The widow arrived again, and Zainab confronted her. The other sisters tried to calm Zainab, saying, "She's just a widow, give her food." However, the widow, under the pretense of taking food, secretly poured more ghee into Qutb's food, spoiling it completely. Qutb was furious. The next day, he summoned the widow and demanded, "How dare you spoil my food?" Feigning innocence, the widow placed her hand on his chest and replied dramatically, "I was only testing if you truly love your daughters. I wanted to see if you'd scold them when their food was spoiled. But you prove you're a good man who loves his daughters dearly. You caught my mischief right away. I won't do anything like this again." Qutb, influenced by her beauty and flattery, believed her. Eventually, he fell for her and decided to marry her without asking his daughters. Soon after the marriage, the stepmother began hating his daughters and plotted to throw them out so she and her daughter could live lavishly. She forced the daughters to do all the household work, starved them, and slowly started cutting off their basic needs. Her own daughter, always dressed in fine clothes, looked modern and elegant, while the 4 sisters became pale and weak. Yet, despite the suffering, the girls' inner beauty and strength shone through. One day, the 3 older sisters were crying when Zainab comforted them and suggested they go out to refresh their minds. They wandered into a forest and sat under a big tree, remembering their mother and crying. Just then, a pious old man passed by. Hearing their sobs, he paused and listened. Zainab cried out to God, "O Allah, we are helpless, oppressed girls. You see how our stepmother treats us. We've been hungry for days." The old man was moved. He approached and said, "My daughters, I live nearby in a hut. Outside it is a mango tree filled with ripe fruit. Go, take as many mangoes as you want and eat your fill." The girls gratefully accepted his offer and went to the tree. It was loaded with sweet, beautiful mangoes. They each picked one, sat, and enjoyed them. After their meal, they thanked the old man and returned home. From then on, whenever their stepmother denied them food, they would go to the forest and eat the mangoes. Eventually, they stopped eating the food at home entirely. Their stepmother noticed they looked healthy and glowing despite her neglect. She thought, "Why are these girls still healthy and beautiful while my daughter, who eats so well, looks dull in comparison?" The next day, she sent her daughter to spy on them. The stepsister followed them to the forest and saw them picking mangoes. Zainab noticed her and warned her sisters, "She's following us. If she tells her mother, we'll be in trouble." But her sisters said, "Don't be harsh. She's innocent. She never troubles us." They welcomed her, gave her a mango, but she didn't eat it. Instead, she ran home and told her mother everything. The next time the sisters went to the forest, they found the mango tree had been uprooted. Their hearts broke. They sat under the tree's remains and cried. Hearing their sobs, the old man came out and comforted them. "There's no need to cry," he said gently. "Allah will give you something even better." Then he pointed to the ground, and suddenly a small stream appeared flowing not with water, but milk. He gave them a clay cup and told them to drink as much as they liked. Overjoyed, the girls filled the cup and drank the milk. From that day on, they visited the forest daily and drank the milk. Their stepmother was even more puzzled now. She told her daughter, "I had the mango tree destroyed, yet those girls are still healthy. What are they eating?" Again, she sent her daughter to spy. When the stepsister saw the girls drinking milk from the magical stream, Zainab noticed her. She warned her sisters, "She's back. If she tells her mother about this stream, we'll be in trouble." But her sisters scolded her gently. "Enough, Zainab. Yes, our stepmother mistreats us, but this girl hasn't harmed us." They welcomed the stepsister and gave her a clay cup of milk. She drank it, then quickly ran home and told her mother everything about the milk stream. This made the stepmother furious. She was never happy, and her daughters were not happy with their stepmother either. So, he made a decision he would take his daughters far away. He hugged them and said, "Daughters, why are you so troubled? I'll take you somewhere else." He took them deep into a forest, built a mud stove, and cooked food for them. After eating to their fill, the daughters slept peacefully under a tree. Qutb left his daughters sleeping there and ran away. In his heart, he believed that at least his daughters would stay alive and be saved from their stepmother's cruelty. On the way, he hunted a deer, took its blood, and gave it to his wife. His wife smeared the blood on her hands and feet and happily said, "Now I am at peace." She believed Qutb had killed his daughters. Meanwhile, when the four sisters woke up, they realized their father had abandoned them. They began calling out for him, but were frightened by the sounds of wild animals in the jungle and began crying. Coincidentally, four friends were out hunting in the same jungle. As they were returning, one of them, named Nasr, said, "I feel like someone is in trouble. Don't you hear someone crying?" The others listened and agreed to check. As they followed the sound, they found four beautiful girls sitting and crying. Nasr stepped forward and asked, "What are you doing here alone, and why are you crying?" Zainab told him their entire story. The boys felt great pity for them and said, "Why don't we marry these girls? They'll have shelter, and our lives will be filled with peace." The four friends married the four girls. Zainab married Nasr. Their houses were near each other, and the sisters began living happily. A year later, Zainab gave birth to a baby boy. Every Nasr's friends and Zainab's sisters was overjoyed. The child grew, and by the age of 2, Zainab and her family were living happily. One day, Nasr said to his friends, "I feel like hunting again today. Let's go." But his friends refused, saying they had urgent work. So Nasr sought Zainab's permission and went hunting alone. Days passed, but Nasr never returned. Zainab grew anxious. Her sisters also became worried seeing her pain. Nasr's friends tried to comfort her and said, "Don't worry, we'll find him." But fate had other plans. Nasr's friends went into the jungle to search for him, but they never came back either. Tragedy struck the four sisters once again. One day, while Zainab was putting her son to sleep, there was a knock at the door. When she opened it, an old fakir wearing green clothes stood outside. Zainab said, "Baba, my husband is not home. I can't let you in. Please come later." The fakir replied, "Daughter, I'm very hungry." "What's wrong in feeding someone who's starving?" Reluctantly, Zainab let the fakir inside and began preparing food for him. But the fakir was a sorcerer and started dyeing her wickedly. Then he approached her and said, "Listen, girl, I like you a lot. Leave your son and marry me." Zainab trembled with fear and said, "Baba, what are you saying? I'm a married woman and a mother. How dare you?" The sorcerer became furious. Using his magic, he turned Zainab into a dog and tied a rope around her neck, dragging her away. Her little son began crying loudly. Hearing the cries, Zainab's sisters rushed to her house. They hugged the crying child and searched for their sister, but Zainab was nowhere to be found. Just like their stepmother, Zainab had now disappeared. Time passed. 14 long years went by since Zainab's disappearance. During this time, her son had grown up and was raised by his two aunts. One day, they told him the truth about his mother. He was deeply shaken and said, "Aunties, today I will go and find my parents." They tried to stop him, saying, "Son, what had to happen has happened. Those who left are gone. We don't want to lose you too. Even our husbands went into the jungle and never returned. If you leave too, Who will we rely on? But he replied, "Don't worry, aunties, I will bring them all back." He set off into the jungle, searching for days without any clue of where to find his parents. Eventually, he reached a strange land filled with stone structures. There, he saw a beautiful little stone house and stared at it curiously. Just then, an old man emerged and said, "Son, you seem new here. Why have you come to this dangerous place?" The boy replied, "Baba, I came here searching for my parents and my uncles. My mother was taken by a sorcerer who turned her into a dog." The old man said, "This land belongs to a powerful sorcerer. Anyone who confronts or speaks against him gets turned to stone. These stones you see around were once people. Years ago, a young man came here, and later 2 more followed. The sorcerer turned them into trees and stones. He's been keeping a noble woman captive for 12 years, so he wants to marry her, but she keeps refusing." The boy thought, "That must be my mother, and those men are my family." He told the old man everything and asked for help. The old man smiled and said, "Son, God always helps the good-hearted. Don't lose hope. I will help you." This old man had once lost his own home to Zainab's stepmother, which had been burned down. He now lived in that dangerous area. He announced to the villagers, "This is my grandson from another village." When the sorcerer heard that someone new had come, he visited the old man and asked about the boy. The old man said, "He's my grandson." The boy met the sorcerer, hiding his real identity. The sorcerer said, "You seem wise and innocent like your grandfather. Tomorrow, I want you to deliver a message to a girl I wish to marry." The boy knew he was about to meet his mother. He was excited and decided to take flowers to her. Zainab had once received a ring from Nazar during their wedding. She had later passed it on to her son. The ring had Nazar's name on it and had been refashioned over the years. The old man told the boy, "Hide the ring in the bouquet. When your mother sees it, she'll recognize you." But it wasn't easy. The sorcerer had assigned a strict guard to watch Zainab. No man was allowed near her room. However, since the boy was only 14, the sorcerer suspected nothing. He gave the boy bouquets to deliver daily. Zainab was kept in a locked room under constant watch. Every day, the boy brought her flowers. One day, fate gave him a chance. Zainab was alone in her room.